That's the way they go. No! Welcome to T-Boys TV. We are back again with another Hatter Show. Apologies, it has been a while that I haven't uploaded. I did want to do the Hatter Show earlier, but been busy with work and other things as well. So we are here finally to get into that game properly. And then because there is a few transfer news flying about, we'll get into that. And obviously the retained list come out a few days ago as well. So we'll also get into that. But yeah, episode 106, like always, I'm joined with my dad. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, well, good, mate. Excellent. Hope everyone's cool and enjoying the nice weather, innit?
Yeah, man. We enjoyed the nice weather and something else. Obviously, like a lot of other Luton fans did a couple of Saturdays ago now. So yeah, obviously we'll get into that. Before I do that, let me get into the comments. A lot of people waiting backstage. So before I went live. So big up to yourselves. Chris has put some other comments in, which I'll get into later because they're regarding transfers. But he says, big up, I'll be at work time you see this. Congratulations again on your promotion. I love the tears of joy from Tyler. I was doing the same for us. Still hate penalties for heart rate. I was a wreck. Yeah, obviously my emotion come out. Do you know what I mean? This time it wasn't because how loud it was. It was because we progressed to the big one, as they call it. So, or the big time, shall I say. So yeah, absolutely, mate. But yeah, obviously Carlisle, very similar to us in what they've done, to be honest. Obviously won on penalties as well, literally a day off.
Congratulations, yeah. Is that the first time that Carlisle have been in League One?
I think so, yes.
Looks like they do well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's put other stuff in regarding the game, so I'll get into that when we, get into that bit by bit. With that, big up Spencer and Stephen in the chat. So there's that. Spencer puts Haiti. Congrats on being promoted to the Premier League. Looks like I'm going to have a new team to root for, other than when they're playing Liverpool, of course. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Blue Terror says Warnock's staying. Yeah, I saw that. That's good for you guys. That is good for you guys, I think, to be honest. It'd be interesting to see what you guys do next season, but he's got that, the players will play for him, whereas before it just wasn't working with whoever you had, obviously when Carlos left. So, yeah. Oh, God. Obviously we will do a reaction when that, them games come out. Mainly to the first game. I won't look at every game because we're going to play everyone at some point anyway. So we'll just look at who we got first. Stephen says, big up Ty, big up yourself. Yeah, everyone asks this question. Luton, because obviously they're my main team, and plus they would be the underdogs. So yeah, Luton for me. With that, Stephen says, big up to you as well, Dad. Big up David again. Massive shout out to him for the tickets. Obviously, it was a very sick view as well. We were loving it, of course. He says, let's go, Ty. Hope you enjoyed the seats and hope view was good. Big up T and your dad. I was crying as well. I know, mate. It's a madness. It's an absolute madness. Big up Tom as well. He says, hi all. Big up yourself. You never know. I mean, you've got close. It's not like you haven't got close before, but it'd be interesting. That's for sure. Yeah, it's a madness. It was a madness. We will get into that, mate. We are going to get into transfer news very, later on. So we'll get into one then, mate. But the first thing we're going to get into is obviously the game. So obviously we played Coventry in the final, as we all know, and going into it, we both felt we were going to win. I can't even remember my score prediction. I think it was 2-1. Can't remember. I think I said it in 90 minutes though, didn't I? I'm pretty sure my dad's prediction was 3-2, wasn't it, Dad? In extra time. Yeah, I thought so. So we both thought we were going to win. We just felt going into it, it was our time. Us getting in it last season. Having that experience. And getting a win against Sunderland. Yeah, obviously they're newly promoted. It may be a step too early compared to us because we were already in it. But at the same time, we didn't actually win a playoff game before that. until that second leg. And, from there, you start to believe, really. That's how it felt for me. But, yeah, going into the lineup, sorry. So, obviously, Ethan was in goal. Back three of Bell, Lockyer and Osho. Doherty on the left, Dre May on the right. Midfield of Nakamba, Rudder and Clark just ahead. Adebayo and Morris. I think that was the exact lineup I went with. And I think you went with the same.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because I do this thing where I predict the lineup and I actually forgot to do it. So I'd have got that spot on and got a couple of points. But it's what it is. But yeah, as for the bench was Berry, Burke, Campbell, Fred, Potts, Shea, Taylor. So it was good to see, obviously there's all sorts of positions there. Obviously, we know a few times this season we haven't had, a proper striker on the bench. It's been, someone like a Freeman who can go up front or Fred, etc. So it's good to see that. Obviously, Taylor was in, of course, because obviously Woodrow was out, unfortunately. Thought he'd maybe be back for this one, but obviously Rob Edwards, a couple of days, confirmed that he wasn't going to be, unfortunately. But yeah, exact lineup that we went with. So we was happy with it, wasn't we?
Yeah. Expected, happy with it. Strongest we could possibly go. So, yeah, it was all good.
Yeah, exactly. Not much else needs to be said on that. But going into the first half, now, first thing we'll talk about is obviously, unfortunately, the Lockyer incident. Good to see that he's, all good now. He actually done an interview the other day. I haven't managed to fully watch it, but I've seen little clips and that. But it's, good to see that he was all right. Obviously, it's very nervy at the time. We was thinking, what the hell has just happened here? But it was obviously not a moment you like to see. But, the player that come on for him, Reece Burke, he was absolutely phenomenal. You got to remember, obviously the team shift was there again. But you got to remember, Lockyer has been, one of our best players on form. Let's be real. How many goals did he get? 3 out of 4 or something in the last 4 games building up to it. Obviously he's been solid at the back. He's getting a lot more recognition from, a lot of other people, realising how good he actually is. So it was brilliant, that Burke, I would say mainly because obviously that was who he changed for, stepped up. But, obviously we know he's good anyway, but just, it can affect the team, but it just didn't seem like it did, at all. And it was just brilliant in that sense. But yeah, it was a worrying time, wasn't it? Very scary time.
Yeah, because I sort of saw it in my peripheral vision as it happened. And so I kind of knew that it collapsed a lot. Some people weren't too sure. They thought like maybe he'd pulled a hamstring or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or just got some innocuous injury. But obviously it weren't the case. And yeah, it was worrying. Obviously it reminded people of the Ericsson incident to me, especially. And yeah, it was quite upsetting. I know he was emotional anyway. I just want to touch on like the build up to the game, and the walk down there. Like it was a bit of an adventure in itself. We somehow ended up walking with like loads of Coventry fans for like a mile and a half or something sort of thing, and then eventually it was getting rather annoying, and we just had to find the Luton fans, and we did, and then we saw players like former players. Walking up and things like that, like Frankie Masunda, we saw him. When we was inside Wembley, we saw Keith Keane, what a legend that guy was. And I introduced him to you. That was quite a cool moment. And then just outside dancing with all the Luton fans, at the bar, etc., etc. But yeah, at that time, yeah, it was quite emotional. Kind of like what was worried, obviously. And big player, captain. We get everything thrown at us, don't we?
Yeah.
And praise the Lord that he's all good. We know he had a minor operation, but it's quite a common sort of illness, if you like, what we had, and obviously that got corrected, so he'll be absolutely fine. And it's just a shame that he didn't get to celebrate at the time with everyone else. But he's a Premier League footballer. he's come from non-league as well, like not with us, but he has played in, so and everyone loves the guy. So yeah, massive shout out to Tom Lockyer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, that at the end of the game, obviously when we won, obviously they held up his shirt, which was that was a great moment to see as well. So yeah, absolutely. But like I said, Bert come on and he was phenomenal. Like I said, we know he's good anyway, but just the way he stepped up in that game, it's just unreal. It's just unreal. Obviously a lot of players stepped up with, which we'll get into now. One of the players that stepped up compared to his previous games was Jordan Clark.
100%.
Obviously Elijah on the goal. That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. The way he managed to keep the ball, get it past their player, play it across. And, when I was there, obviously, sometimes you just know that you're going to score at them moments. And that's just how it felt for me as soon as the ball was played across. Clark, brilliant finish. Redeems himself. Because like I said, he wasn't as great as everyone else, especially in the second leg against Sunderland. So massive shout out to him. And he was very emotional. Big up to him. Obviously, like I say, it's still mad to think we got this guy on free of how, consistent he is most of the time. But yeah, brilliant goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm just going to touch on the offside goal previous to that. We started dominating the game. Fret got corner, marginally offside. But it was offside. But still, I just want to touch on that because it shows how capable we was, and I think we looked the better team overall. But yeah, touch the touch. Well, 3-4 touches he had. Fazden didn't know, if he was at Wembley or not. But yeah, that's real class, real quality, and we know he's capable of that. And he has come on in leaps and bounds, and that's a massive game to do it in. To have the confidence to do that as well, and also props to Clark because his first touch needed to be absolutely spot on. And it was real quality, and finish was very good as well. So and yeah, I'm really pleased because we was saying that, but we know he's capable, and he got that crucial goal, absolutely crucial goal. The way they kept switched on, because I don't think they knew exactly what happened to Lockyer, but they knew it. He was going to hospital, surely at the very least. And to just have that composure and just play like that, yeah, it was a long ball up there, but look at the control, look at the movement. Yeah, that's what it's not like he's just passed it to him and he's just run all the way. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's still a hell of a lot to do there, and it was just brilliant. And that's like an assist of the season. That is, for me. Fantastic goal, and helped us, calm down a little bit, calm the nerves a little bit. Even though my smartwatch was telling me that my heart rate was going too fast on a number of occasions, but we know why. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely,
and excellent goal.
Yeah. And Chris says here about it. It says it's one of the best build-ups he's seen for a goal. And he's not saying it obviously because we're Luton fans. It was brilliant from Elijah. Like you said, it was. Stephen said it in the comments, and I know you said it when we spoke about it a bit after that. That was, that was Premier League quality, that by Elijah.
Definitely.
And then obviously Clark, the finish, brilliant finish as well. Like you said, that touch was vital because sometimes if your touch is poor, defender can get to it a bit easier, and then it's a bit of a ruined chance, essentially. So, absolutely. And obviously, it was absolute scenes. I was about to say in the away end, in the half Luton fans' end. But yeah, no, it was brilliant. But yeah, other than that, in the first half, Coventry, they only had one really good chance, I would say. And that was towards the end of the half where the ball was played across. And they put it over the bar. It was a good chance for them. But other than that, I felt we were in control for most of it, to be honest. And it goes to what Chris says here. He says, Luton first half performance in that final was one of the best first half performances I've seen in the playoff final, especially after Lockyer going off too. So bravo to Luton for the way they responded to that. And I totally agree. I totally agree with that because, like I said, that takes a massive toll, or it could do anyway, because obviously, like I said, or like we said, sorry, he's the captain. He's been brilliant. And like I said, going into it, he was scoring goals as well as doing his job in defending. So it's a massive player that's, been unfortunately put out of the game. But, it's just brilliant. Like I said, I know Burke's good, but that was super impressive. That was super impressive. It really was by him. So, yeah, that is that. But, yeah, is there anything else you want to say about the first half, Dad?
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance. We can still, for me, like for a Wembley performance, playoff final performance, as Chris was saying, yeah, it's very good. But in the league, I still feel that we can play better than that. I know it sounds like mad, but but it just shows the mentality, the spirit, the togetherness, and that's going to count for a long way going forward, and will be underestimated as well, especially in the Premier League. But yeah, just great for first half performance, limited them. People saying that they didn't play that well, but they couldn't control us. We were clearly the better team. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, going into the second half, it was all right from us. Obviously, it wasn't as good as the first half. We weren't awful. Obviously, I did get the goal. Obviously, Hammer. If I did predict a goal scorer for Coventry, I would have said Hammer. I'm not going to lie. I did say he's a player we need to watch out for, or Hamer, however you say it, going into it. And, it was a good goal. Again, I thought their goal was similar to ours in ways. Not necessarily what they did for the assist, just the way the ball was played across, the finish. It was a good finish. Obviously, it went through Osho's legs. Ethan had no chance for me because how, precise it was. And, it was a good goal. It was a good goal, to be fair. But at the time, I was still thinking we were going to go on to win it, to be honest. Like I said, it just links to what I said. I just felt it was our time, even with them getting that. And just the subs we were making as well. I felt, it could have been something for Taylor, and it nearly was. It nearly was, which obviously we'll get into that as well. But your thoughts on when the goal happened for them?
Like I say, very similar. It goes excellent finish, great assist. But this is what I was sort of saying to people like before the game, saying that's their two best players without a shadow of a doubt combining and then performing and they did in that moment. And that's going to happen. But I always said to people that overall, with our squad is better. It's underestimated. They've got two very, very good players, but we've got like 11 very good players. So could Ethan have got to it? Was a good finish, but I do feel that in the Premier League, certain keepers would maybe sort of get to them balls. You know what I mean? It was a good finish though. That's all I can say. Probably maybe slightly nervy coming out in the second half. We weren't poor by any shot of the imagination, but I think the nerves were there. That's all it was. And it took us longer to sort of carry on playing our football a bit, but we did. So
yeah, I was going to say, I think it links to what Stephen said here. We seemed a bit too tense because, like I said, I don't think we were poor in the second half. We just weren't as good.
But also, they'd have been a bit unsure about what's happening with Lockyer as well. So
yeah, true. Yeah, no, absolutely. But like I said, even when they got that goal, I just still felt we were going to win it. I really did. Obviously, I got a bit nervier. You're always going to because the minute that it scored, So yeah, but I was still confident, to be honest. But yeah, next talking point I'm going to go to. Do you know what? I think that's all I'm going to say on the second half. to be honest, because I want to get to the Taylor moment where we thought that was the moment. Harry is obviously a good mate of mine, obviously been on the channel a few times, as you lot know, when we played Birmingham. He said to me, and we always had a little joke around about it, Dad, and it nearly come true about Taylor, getting his first goal in the final, winning goal. He nearly did. Obviously, looking back at it, it was a handball. Unfortunate, to be honest. It's not, like he's done it on purpose, but we thought that was the moment. First ever time we've both got this VAR live, and flipping hell, it is annoying. But yeah, it was unlucky, wasn't it?
Yeah, because everyone went absolutely crazy. We could see. I thought, yeah, he's going to finish it. He's going to finish it. That defending from them was poor, and he's lucky that it bounced up and hit his hand. Because if it hit his chest and that, it would have been game over there and then. It wouldn't have even gone to penalties, I don't think. But for him to step up as well, I've said I think he will be a hit. And he's featured quite heavily in the playoff. As well. So yeah, it was a good finish considering the pressure he must have been under as well. But it was handball. And then we missed that there was another goal that we scored, but I don't know. I think it might have been in the second half as well, but it was I think that was handball as well, come off Elijah's hand or something. But we were getting into them positions. We were just, we just looked like we was going to score. When we got into the better positions, and we felt quite confident we was going to do that. But at that moment, we thought we'd done it, but it was not to be. But that it was all part of the journey.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Tom says he saw the handball straight away. He was the only one not celebrating. Yeah, obviously we were high up, so we're just thinking, and because we're nervy, we're just focusing on trying to get a goal, however it comes. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate, by him. But never know what he could maybe do next season, depending on what we do with him. We'll see if we loan him out or keep him on the bench. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, so obviously, meaning that moment, obviously it meant it will go to a penalty shootout. Historically, we're not very great in penalty shootouts. So it was a bit nervy, but still, another thing I felt that benefited us going into them penalty shootout, as well, was us shooting at our end. I think that was always going to help us as well. Obviously, Potts was obviously
first.
What's that? Sorry,
going first.
Yeah,
having it at our end. That was. I do feel that was crucial. I mean, we don't know what would have happened at the other end, but for me, it just felt crucial because the sun was out there. It just felt, even though when it went to penalties, for me, I was dreading it because I have seen them, defeats on penalty shootouts, and the last penalty shootout we had recent to that was, I think, the Stevenage game which we went to, and I know it's a time ago, and but
historically it's not great.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Me personally, I was nervy. Like I said, I think what benefited us is shooting our end. And even though, like I said, we were poor, historically, I just felt we were going to... I just felt it was our time. I really did throughout the whole day, even when they equalised. So, yeah, obviously the penalties were absolutely brilliant by us. Obviously, we didn't miss a penalty. Obviously, Rob Edwards and coaching staff, massive shout out to them. Obviously, they said they've been practicing on them just in case we get there. And it's always good to do that, if needed, if required. And you could tell they really did practice on them penalties. Absolutely brilliant. Everyone that scored. So obviously that was Morris, Taylor, McCamber. McCamber's was really good. I think that was probably my favourite one because it was like side netting. Keeper went the other way as well. Clark, great penalty by him as well. Berries, good penalty. Potts was good as well. I know a few people were a bit nervy.
Potts' penalty was excellent, but other people mentioned it. Obviously you had to win 2 coin tosses to A, take the first penalty, and then B, get at our end. and score. He got a hat trick like that. You know what I mean? It was a brilliant left-footed penalty. I felt that if anyone was going to miss it, it was going to be him.
Yeah, I remember you saying that to me. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant penalty. For me, probably. And the Campbell's was good, but for me, I feel like his was crucial, wasn't it? Wasn't it the one before?
Yeah, boxes. Yeah,
as well. So absolutely massive. Considering like he's played in parts this season. Obviously, got injured at Blackpool, as we know. Certain fans were telling him to get up and that. And then he was out for a while, back injury, I believe. But yeah, what a warrior! And he's obviously, he has got quality.
Yeah.
But I just feel over the past few seasons, we're not too sure, and I'm still unsure, especially Premier League. But around the dressing room, clearly he's a leader, and he's got nerves of steel as well. So absolutely,
yeah. No, I definitely agree. There's been the one game I look at last season where, made me think, or I don't know, was the Coventry game. Funny enough, at home, he had a little bit of a bit of there, but like I said, he has, compared to like a Bradley, two players who we don't think, we didn't think going forward are the answer. Obviously, Bradley's gone, but massive shout out to him. Of course, what everything he's done for the club. The jump part, he's been a massive part of it. Just the next step.
Yeah, let's go somewhere who's got, if he does go League One, then hope he gets promotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, I've got his shirt, obviously a couple of years ago. So, funny enough, it's actually the one you're wearing now, Dad. It's that exact one. So, yeah, obviously, that was a match worn one. So, big up for that. Obviously, he didn't directly give it to me, but obviously, he's give it to people that can then give it to me. So, that was boss. But yeah, massive shout out to him. But yeah, the thing I will say about, when I compare them two, Potts has been more consistent, compared to Bradley, for example. I won't forget that game for Potts Swansea away. We watched it together, Dad. Remember that? He was
captain as well.
He was just heading everything away. The 2-0 victory where Morris, I think that was Morris's first goal actually. But yeah, it was brilliant. He was brilliant. So he has been more consistent at times. So yeah, that's what I will say with that. But yeah, obviously, they had the moment. Obviously, they needed to score. It got to sudden death. Like I said, obviously, Potts getting the winning penalty for us in that sense. Obviously, Dabo took it. And I did say to you, Dad, I wish I, said it on the vlog. I wish I pressed record and said it. I literally said, I've got a feeling he's going to miss. And obviously he did. And yeah, from there on in, it was absolute scenes. We were really there. Obviously, if you watch the vlog, which I know most of you have, I was very emotional because, we're there. We're finally there. Do you know what I mean? After, obviously, the heartbreak we've had, obviously, last season and stuff like that, we're finally there. So it's absolutely crazy. And yeah, obviously, you saw what I was like. But, Dad, obviously, I know I was with you. But let the people know how you were feeling at that moment.
I said to you, I had a feeling. I don't know if you put that video out there, like before ball was even kicked.
Unfortunately, not. No.
But put it out there, and I just felt it was going to happen. Especially, their penalties were excellent as well.
Yeah.
But I just was like, it's gonna happen, and when it finally did, it's like the biggest rush, the most elated feeling I've probably ever had whilst watching Luton. There's some good ones, do you know what I mean? But that'll never be bettered, I don't think. Well, it might be, hopefully, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah, exactly.
To watch the emotion, like going on, everyone was hugging each other, and it was just that raw. Obviously, we've all probably watched it multiple times on social media, etc. Just absolutely incredible. Obviously, the guy that missed, unlucky, but it happens. It's always going to happen to someone. I think Bradley went up to him. A few players went up to him anyway, you know. But absolute elation. It was just, I can watch that over and over again. I've got the game on again in the background as well because you know, we didn't really get to watch it. Well, we did. Do you know? You know what I'm talking about, and like
Yeah.
in certain ways, like it was more just emotional rather than just like now you can just sort of take it all in more.
Yeah, you can chill out and watch it because you know
Yeah,
what.
yeah. So unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely.
I knew it was going to happen. I said it for a long, quite a while now. You know, the Luton Watford situations. I said to you, I said if someone said to you at the start of the season, Watford would smash us 4-0, right? But we'd get promotion to the Premier League. We take that. Who's going to take that? Everyone's going to take that. But I talked about that as well before, and it just felt right. Everything's just geared up. I do feel as well that Nathan Jones leaving actually benefited us. Obviously, he was excellent for us. We was looking much more, you know, we get a lot of criticism for apparently being one-dimensional, etc. Now, but we was much more playing like that, long balls, etc., pumping it up to Elijah, even before we had Morris, for a while. Do you know what I mean? And we was that, you know, that seemed to be our only sort of. Obviously, we still, you know, pressed, etc. But we've played much better football, more intricacies, more triangles, more through balls, and things like that since Rob Edwards has come in, and the two players he signed on loan, the Handball and Dre May, 100% made a difference as well. You know, big ask to come in. All right, Bree's gone. Nathan's took Bree with him. What are we going to do? I know what we're going to do. Let's get this guy in. Midfield. We knew the midfield was like that. We knew the midfield, unless they were, you know, they were all out attacking and we were sort of dominating teams. If we come up against better teams, we were suffering with our midfield. You know, too small, maybe a bit lightweight, a bit one-dimensional kind of. Do you know what I mean? We needed someone to allow that, because our midfield players are generally like good on the ball, good going forward, etc. And not, yeah, they can defend, but they weren't, and they can bar. So for him to come in as well, for Rob Edwards, you know, he needs. He doesn't want to take too much credit, but I'll tell you what, he needs to.
Yeah. No, I always say it. Obviously, big up to Nathan Jones for the position he left us in. And I agree, you know, about what you said about him. Because I was saying, I obviously went on a channel the other day, obviously talking about Luton, just the general, you know, the rise up and last season. And I was saying the exact same thing because of the long ball situation, you know. And you look at certain games as well, like that Wigan game, for example, at home. Now, they're a poor side for the league, no disrespect. You know, hints why they finished bottom. Yeah, they got the points deduction, but you know, their quality weren't there throughout the whole season. You could just see it in games they had. And, you know, we lost to them at home. It just wasn't good enough. You know, we had that spell at home where it was just poor. You know, so I look at things like that. Obviously, you know, he changed it around. We had no midfield for a good 10 minutes. But you know, I just think stuff like that, you know, obviously the change helped. Obviously, you know, like Stephen says here as well about, you know, the Rob Edwards football. Obviously, yeah, he has in-store a bit more patience is, and obviously moves the ball around. It's a delight. It is. You know, we've said it plenty of times. You know, we think we're, you know, a better side, much better side if we're passing the ball around, because we definitely, you know, you've seen it. We've got the capabilities to do it. You know, we've done it against several teams that, you know, season just gone. So I definitely think it helps as well. And, you know, he definitely, obviously, doesn't, you know, like my dad said, doesn't give himself enough credit, but he deserves it. You know, him and the coaching staff, you know, everyone, obviously, at the club, but, you know, he deserves at least a little bit of credit as well, of course, you know, 100%, because the way we're playing, you know, he's just capitalised on what Nathan Jones done, essentially. for us. So, yeah, absolutely with that. A few other comments. Where was I on the comments? The pens was perfect. My heart didn't approve. Yeah, literally, mate. Literally. Tom agrees with me. He reckons the Campbell is defo the best pen. Yeah, I just liked it. I just like how good it was. Obviously, Keith went the other way as well. So yeah, big up to Manny. Obviously, it is his birthday today. So shout out to yourself, mate. Obviously,
Happy birthday, mate.
Birthday. Obviously, he's been on the channel a few times. He's a Huddersfield fan, as you know. So yeah, big up to yourself, mate. He says, yes, boys, big up on promotion. Enjoy the big league. Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully, we will enjoy it. Obviously, we know it's going to be difficult, of course, but hopefully, have a good season there as well. Big up to Hanno. He says, hi, T and T's dad. Hope you guys are good. Delighted to see Luton in the Prem, and so I can get more into Luton with watching them. Obviously, it'll be a lot easier now we're in the Premier League. My biggest fear is the loan players don't come back. Yeah, obviously, we'll get into that. And obviously what we think. So yeah, Tom's put what he thinks, so I'll start that and get into that a bit later. Hanno also puts shout out to Clark for the goal, and Adebayo is truly magical. The extra tunnel is on 60 subscribers now. Thanks, David. Making it 60. Where did you sit in the middle tier or the highest tier? We was in the highest tier, mate. Pretty much behind the goal, but just very high up, of course. And yeah, I get an email actually when someone subscribes on the other channel, so it actually did come through. But yeah, thanks for letting me know as well. Big up yourself, David, once again for that. And make sure to everyone else, obviously, if you haven't subscribed to the extra channel, please do already. Please do now. Sorry. So yeah, there you go. Obviously, Manny getting all the happy birthdays and that. So yeah, big up to Lewis in the chat as well. But yeah, so that's that. That's that about the 90 minutes. Unless there's anything else you want to say, Dad, before we get into the player ratings.
No, let's get into the player ratings.
There we go. Let's get into the player ratings. Obviously, we'll start off with Ethan, of course, goalkeeper. One thing, obviously we do have the option to get him. Do I think we will? No, I don't. I don't think he's as poor as what certain people say. One thing that I was a little bit gutted about in this game from him, but I'm not going to, have a go at him. But the penalties, obviously, a lot of them he went the other way, which was a little bit frustrating. But his overall game, the goal, is 50-50. Could he have saved it? Could he have not? Obviously, I had my say earlier. I don't think he was terrible. Massive shout out to him. Obviously, coming in this season and doing a shift. Obviously, he's had a few, little errors, but overall, I think he's been all right. I just don't feel we'll get him going forward. But my rating for Ethan, I'll go with a 7.
I'll give him a 7.5. For the, like you say, penalties. He was close with a couple, but their keeper who's kept the most clean sheets, I think, in the league, was the Golden Glove of the season. He didn't save any either. So, overall, he was quite calm. He's played at Wembley before. He is definitely a very good goalkeeper. Like you say, going forward, I don't think. For me, I just don't feel like he's got the mentality for the Premier League. I think he can't. I'm not sure. That's what I think. So I don't think we'll be going back in for him. But yeah, 7.5. Massive shout out to him. He has made some good saves for us, and he has done reasonably well. Let's be honest. But for me, I feel like the defence was very, very good, and it gave him much less work to do. That I remember games and games where he literally had nothing to do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, and it links to what Jackie says here. Obviously, hello as well. It says, had good defence. A lot of people are saying that. He had a good defence. Obviously, we know our defence is very good. We've got players that can come on like Reece Burke. Do you know what I mean? So we know how good it is. And again, I agree with that to a certain extent. Like I said, I don't think he was as bad as certain people were saying. He was getting a lot of heavy criticism, which I think was just a scapegoat because he's a lone player, to be honest. But going forward, I don't think he's quite that guy, and maybe Nottingham Forest saw that, because obviously they weren't really playing him at all, were they?
No.
Obviously in the Premier League and that, and obviously they got Dean Henderson and all that sort of stuff. So, and Navas, so it's one of them really, isn't it? But Stephen's rating, he says it was okay. Pent, I hope you guessed the right way. Yeah, sometimes it's one of them, isn't it? Obviously, as a goalkeeper, sometimes you can try but not all players do it. You look at them and see what they're looking at, but at the same time, they're not always doing it. So it is like you say, sometimes you have to just guess. With that, Tom says 7 for me. Wasn't really at fault for goal. No chance of pens, really. Yeah, like you say, like we said, obviously the penalties were very good from everyone. Obviously, the last one was unfortunate by them. But yeah, the goal, I agree. I agree as well, to be honest. Like I said earlier. So yeah, that is that. Moving on to the next player, we will go over to Osho, who I thought was very good yet again. You've always bigged him up, Dad. Like I say, he has been brilliant. He has been brilliant when he's started to play regularly. This season, and it's just one of them, isn't it? Really for him, where it was hard to throw him out of the team towards the end of the season. When you had the him or Burke conversation, because obviously Burke had a few injuries and Osho was just so good, you were always going to put Osho ahead, and he was good in this game again. I really felt he was good again. Man of the match contentions, there's a lot. I think he's definitely in the conversation for it, in my opinion. As for a rating, I'm going to go with was impressed with Osho. I'll go with 8.
I'm going to give him 8.5. I thought he was switched on. He was unlucky with that. He was a threat with that offside goal as well. He was pretty composed. He stepped up massively this season. And yeah, I'm glad we're negotiating a new contract with him. 8.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Osho loved the. I think he meant to put occasion. I think Steve meant to put there. Very cool, composed. 7.8, yeah, exactly. And then Tom says 7.5, solid performance. Exactly, it was. It really was. Lockyer is obviously a difficult one to rate because obviously he come off early, so I'll just go with a standard 6.
Nah, mate, I'll give him a 7.5. He was involved early on with a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? He was doing his job really well. Obviously, he was unlucky. He tried to get up. Even as he was collapsing, he was trying to get up. Watford afterwards, everything to do with that. Even the fact of him not being on the pitch raised every other player's level anyway, as well. And especially once they knew he was all right to a certain extent. So I'm giving him 7.5.
Yeah, fair enough then. Fair enough. With that, then moving on to Bell. Again, very good. For me, probably our most consistent player because of the position changes he's had at times this season, left wing back, left centre back. And yeah, he was good again. Didn't put a foot wrong. Brilliant player, as we know. Underrated, if anything. Because a lot of people still think he's poor, which is madness to me. So I'm going to go for Bell. Like I say, I was impressed with Bell. I'm going to go for 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. Classy performance, making the runs forward when he could, involved, kept his position well, and was just really calm and composed. Yeah, excellent. 8.5.
Exactly that. Stephen on Lockyer, he says, love him. Glad he is okay. Obviously, health is more important. Of course, mate. Of course. And it was good to see, actually, in the hospital. We haven't mentioned it yet, where he was celebrating. That was brilliant to see. And then Tom's rating for Bell, he's gone with the 8. So that's fair enough. And then moving on to the wing-backs. We'll start off with Doherty. Again, he's been very good in that position throughout the season. And yeah, again, didn't put a foot wrong for me at all. I can't really think of him doing anything bad at all. So I'm just going to go over 8.
8.5 again. Getting forward, looked lively, looked himself, involved in a lot of good stuff for us. So yeah, 8.5.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, big up to Nicardo Media House. Obviously, I was on his channel, the other day.
Take a penalty as well.
Who, Amari Bell?
No, Dowie.
I think he did. Let me just double check. No, he didn't. He didn't. No.
Wow. Like I felt, yeah, that's pretty surprising, to be honest, because I feel like, for you know, he would have definitely have scored, but for other players to step up, Berry, yeah, Potts,
Yeah.
we've had them players in League One, so it just makes it even more amazing that they've held that and scored. So yeah.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I know a lot of people were nervy when Potts was taken. I was confident, but I understand why people, were nervy. Nervy anyway, but yeah. But yeah, big up to Ricardo Media House. I said I was on his channel the other day. Obviously, talk about Luton, the rise, and etc. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. It's in the community posts. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that video is doing well. So I know a few of you have watched it. So big up to yourself. But obviously, he's Jamaican, so he's loving the Amari Bell. Do you know what I mean? So big up to yourself, mate. Doherty, he runs good. Obviously, he meant to put. Looked for ball more 8.5. Yeah, that's very true, actually. I know a lot of times he was making that run forward, which you've seen him do anyway. Or sometimes he was coming, being that short option, which he does. So, yeah, I'd agree with that. So, yeah. Yeah, the cross wasn't great, was it? Obviously, yeah, you got a point there, to be fair. But at the end of the day, still done it. But I do hear what you say, because obviously they did score from our corner, which is a bit frustrating. But is what it is. When you look at what happened, we're not going to complain in the end, are we? With that, so yeah, moving on to the next player, which was Dre May. Now, obviously, we will get into discussing about him, when it comes to transfers very shortly. Obviously, he's been rumoured with us and a few other clubs, which we'll get into. But yeah, if it is his last time, playing for us, big up to him again. Very consistent. You can see his Premier League quality. And yeah, he was good in this game again. Similar to Doherty for me, where they're just, bombing forward, being them short options, making them runs. I'm going to go with another 8, I think.
I'll give him about 8.5. Consistent, as you say, very similar to Alfie. Position well. Always energetic. Very, very good player. Like for a 21-year-old. Like if we can, I don't think we're going to be able to sign him, but 8.5, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen says Dre may look like he belonged there. Great, 8.5, exactly that. Then moving on to the midfield, we'll start off with Nakamba. Obviously he's again another player which we'll get into when it comes to potentially getting him back or not. Very good again, very consistent for Luton. Obviously, he's had one or two not so great games. One of them obviously was the Sunderland game in the first leg, where not a lot of people were great, but he weren't the only one. Like I said, in that Preston game, I think it weren't so him necessarily. It was just because the Championship, you can't always have that time on the ball, and he nearly got exposed. But other than that, he's been absolutely brilliant. In front of that defence, winning everything. Getting the ball, playing it forward, just doing the basics really well, So hopefully we can get him back. Of course, I'd be very happy, especially hearing what I heard yesterday about Villa looking like they're not wanting him, which I'm not really surprised about because they are in Europe. And that's not because I don't think he's not good. It's just, he's in, there, and it's a bit of a jump, isn't it? Let's be honest now. So in that sense, Unai Emery as well, it's a different manager compared to when he was there before in Gerrard. So I look at that. But yeah, that is that. But yeah, he's been brilliant. He was really good. Up there for man of match for me. Brilliant to see everyone chanting after, all the players at the back. So for that reason, well, not just for that, but his performance anyway, I'm going to go, do you know what? I'm going to go pretty high from the Campbell. I'm going to go have a 9. Really impressed.
Totally agree. I'm going to give him a 9. Switched on, showed that quality, that calmness, fighting to win the ball. Just overall, fantastic performance. And the penalty gives that edge as well because it was so confident. It was the best penalty, I think. So 9.
The penalty as well. Yeah, no, absolutely. With that, we have received a few super chats out of nowhere, like an RKO. So thank you. Thank you for that. And then big up Mikado as well. Jeez, I've received it in US. Yeah, that's US dollars. I'd nearly forgot where you're from, mate. Considering you told me the other day, so big up. That's, yeah, appreciate it. Anyway, obviously, like I said, all the super chats I receive on this channel go straight back into the channel. And at this rate, it's going to be to get a better camera. Saying that, though, it hasn't actually played up yet. So hopefully it doesn't now that I said that. But yeah, thank you for them. Much appreciated. And obviously, Spencer, obviously, thanks you lot as well. So big up for that. Tom says Nakamba 8.5 held on to the ball too long at times. You reckon? Okay, interesting. Still a high rating though, given that. So fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Oh, what's going on with my comments? Oh, my thing's having it. There we go. Steve said Nakamba loving life at Luton. He looks at home. Yeah, his performance shows exactly. And you can tell he's already he's a fan favourite. You know, I remember going Sunderland away and people have got, obviously, you know, the flags of, I think it's Zimbabwe where he's from. So yeah, people already got him. You know, they're already loving it. Obviously, the players as well. You know, they're loving him being here. You saw it. Obviously, after the game, the chant. Obviously, it was on the TikTok, on the Luton and that. So yeah, man, big up. And like I said, hopefully we can get him. Hopefully we can get him there. So yeah, that is that. Moving on to the next player, Pele Rudder. Finally. He is here with us. He is here all this way. He's made all this jump and he is finally at the big time with us. Absolutely brilliant. GOAT. You know, what a guy he is, man. Some of the comments he says, as we know, hilarious as well. 90 minutes away from the Premier League, obviously, after that Sunderland game. And he said something on the what's it called? The tour, the parade thing. And it was funny as well. But brilliant. You know, getting stuck in, it was difficult to not, you know, put him in the starting 11 at times towards the end of the season. And yeah, man, I'm so glad he's made the jump with us, you know, all that way. And it's going to be very difficult for someone else to try and do that. It might not even ever be done again, or at least for a good, I don't know how many years, honestly. But massive shout out to him. Again, what a guy. What a guy. I'm going to go full Rudder. Do you know what? I'm going with another 9.
I'll give him a 9 as well. I thought he was excellent. Didn't fold under pressure. Played some good balls. Composed. Getting forward really well. He must have been... I think he was captain, wasn't he? Most of the game.
I think so, yeah. The thing is, we didn't actually know at the time. We didn't really think about it, but we was thinking, who's the captain after, wasn't we?
Yeah. Excellent performance. 9.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. Stephen obviously went to the parade. I would have went, but it was quite an early one, I can't lie. But he says, I was at George Street chanting in to stay. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Or square, he meant to put. Pele is Luton, Pele is Town, Pele is Premiership, says Stephen, 8.5. Yeah, fair enough, and he absolutely is. Tom says 7.5. No, he changed it to an 8. He just went actually at 8. Fair enough, mate. And then moving on to Clark, again, stepped it up. My man of the match, Jordan Clark. I was debating between him and Elijah because just what Elijah done on that goal. But I was thinking about it. Clark obviously scored a penalty as well. Obviously, Elijah went on for that time, but still scored a penalty, stepped up compared to his performance. Like I said earlier, I don't think it was as great in the second leg in that Sunderland game compared to everyone else. Brilliant goal, brilliant penalty. And, you know, obviously he was very emotional at the end. His interview was absolutely class. If you've not seen it, make sure you see it. But yeah, massive shout out to him. You know, like I say, it's still mad to think we got this guy for free. So, yeah, massive shout out to him. My rating for Clark, my man of the match, do you know what? Because it's the final, Premier League, 10.
Yeah, I agree. It was close between him and Elijah. But, yeah, definitely a 10. You know, that touch was you know, phenomenal. He had to do it. Good finish. lively all game, always looking to go forward, didn't look phased, wanted it, brilliant penalty, stepped up, just stepped up. Like that was his best performance in the playoffs without a doubt, and he scored the goal. So 10 man of the match.
Yeah, no, exactly. Stephen says, "Oh, what is going on with my thing? Thing's having a bit of a mare. There we go. He says Clark could be best free transfer ever, potentially, mate. Potentially for us. Obviously in my lifetime, I would probably say so. Obviously you've been a Luton fan a lot longer than me, and you're saying that. So he definitely probably is for me. Just can't really think of anyone else. To be honest, obviously he's had some really good games, as we know. Obviously this game, of course, is a standout because of the game, the magnitude of the game. I remember Blackpool last year when we beat them 3-0. He was massive in that game as well. He has had them games. Even when we lost 3-1 to Chelsea in the FA Cup, he scored in that game as well. He is brilliant, man. He is brilliant. I think he'll do all right in the Prem, to be honest. A lot of people might not agree, but I think he will. I think he'll be that one that you might not expect to do well, but he will. I know he's not the tallest of players, but I just think, he's very good at, winning the ball sometimes from the air, which is mad to say because he's not the tallest. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. Obviously, it's, there is a lot of quality in the Premier League, and it's harder to get in behind teams, but we'll see. I think he'll do all right. Tom says 9 as well. Obviously Stephen said man of the match as well for Clark, so there you go with that. Moving on to the next player. Who will we go over to first? Obviously it's the strikers now. We'll go over to Morris. We'll start off with Morris. We thought he'd probably score. A lot of games going on to the end of the season, and just because where he was in goal scorers, we thought, he'd score. But he still, he still played parts. It's not like he wasn't doing anything. He was still getting involved. Unfortunate, obviously didn't score. Obviously, I think Gyökeres ended up a goal higher. I think he did, or they were level, something like that. I thought Morris would end up getting second, but very close anyway. Brilliant signing he's been for us. Obviously, our most expensive signing. I expect us to break that record now that we're in the Premier League, though. But he's been brilliant. And yeah, shout out to him. But yeah, I don't think it was terrible. So I'm still going to go fairly high for Morris. I'm going to go over 8.
I'll give him 8.5. Thought his hold-up play was decent. It was Morris. He had to take the first penalty. Great penalty as well. And was good throughout the game. In good situations, he was playing the right pass, etc. Yeah, he's unlucky not to score, but I'm sure he'll score in the Premier League. 8.5.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve says Morris, lively. Coventry were worried. 8.5. Exactly. It's one of the players I had to watch out for, as we know. And then moving on to Elijah, last player that obviously was in that starting 11. Brilliant on the goal. Like I said, that is Premier League quality, and he done really well. I think what gave him massive confidence in these remaining 3 games, if you like, obviously the 2 playoffs and obviously the final or semi-finals and then the final, shall I say, was, getting that goal in that first game. I really think that, gave him a lot of confidence. And, he was close to getting man of the match for me, even though he did come off and didn't play the whole game. He was very close to getting it because of what he'd done on that goal. And he had another chance as well in the first half, which weren't far at all. So he's up there for me, and he's actually going to get a high rating for me, considering he didn't play the whole game. I'm giving him a 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5. He was excellent. Brilliant assist. Talked about, his overall game was good as well. Like defensively, he was there. Always chasing down the ball, just excellent. And like if he can carry on stepping it up, he's a danger for Premier League defences without a doubt. Because they won't expect him to be that good, and he will show that he is. So yeah, close to being man of the match as well for me. 9.5.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That is absolutely fair enough. Tom says Morris was a nuisance for them. Won a lot of headers, exactly, and he's very good at doing that as well. The only thing I get a little bit annoyed about, well, not even annoyed, more frustrated, is sometimes when he flicks them on, no one's quite there, which is annoying because he's doing a good part in that sense, and the part you should get more credit for predominantly because winning the ball and then helping a chance. But yeah, no, I agree with that. And he's gone with an 8.5. Good penalty. Yeah, exactly. It was a good penalty by Morris as well. He did still score, thinking about it. Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah. And then obviously Stephen says Adebayo was a game for him. That is hashtag stepping up. Yeah, obviously that was the thing, wasn't it? 8.9. Yeah, no, exactly. He was brilliant. And then Tom's rating for Adebayo's gone with 9 as well. Sorry, Stephen went with an 8.9. Hold up play excellent and sublime assist, exactly. So yeah. His copybook slightly with the miss, but I'll let him off. Yeah, exactly. He was still unlucky there, I felt, and still played a massive part. So absolutely, mate, absolutely. But yeah, they were all the starting 11. Now, when it comes to subs, obviously you've done that early one in the first half. Reece Burke, obviously coming on. Like I said earlier, I was really impressed with him because we know he's a good player anyway, but just the Lockyer incident, it can be nervy times, and it could be a lot of pressure on him. Even though I feel he's a player that thrives under it, still, you never know, especially with the magnitude of the game. But he was brilliant. He was up there for man of the match for me. He really was. He was just phenomenal. So yeah, even though he come on very early. So I think it's only right that I give him a high rating, and I'm going with another 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5. Big shoes to fill. But as you said, we both know he's a very, very good defender, and I think he will do well if he get in the Premier League. He's athletic, he's strong, he's good at passing. Do you know what I mean? He's of that. You say he's John Stones, etc. But he's got that way about it. So and yeah, to step up, he didn't put a foot wrong. He just slotted in nicely, easily, and yeah, he's not as good at heading it clear as Lockyer, but he was getting his foot on it and making sure that it was going in certain areas. Do you know what I mean? He was so composed. Even when he was warming up, you could watch it back. You can see that as well. So yeah, 9.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Burke had Gyökeres in his pocket. 9.5 man in a match. He did for most of it, to be honest. Obviously, Gyökeres did get the assist, but other than that, he definitely did. And he was stepping on his toes, obviously in a good way. So yeah, man in a match, like I said, he's up there for me. He really is, because like I said, it was the replacement for Lockyer, and like I said, we know he's got that quality. And again, when we played Chelsea in the FA Cup at Luton, he scored in that very early, didn't he? That was a great header as well. So he's definitely got the capability, that's for sure, to play in the Premier League. That's for sure. But yeah, that is that. And then moving on to the next sub, obviously in the second half, we didn't make any subs for a while, which we have done at times this season. But yeah, obviously Fred come on for Doherty. Obviously, I wonder what Stephen was thinking at the time. To be fair, at the time, I remember me and you, Dad, we were just like, "Come on, Fred, you just got to be on job, mate. We know you definitely got the capabilities." And to be fair, he was going forward a few times and actually winning us corners and that, which we know he can do anyway. But I thought he'd done well when he come on, to be honest. So yeah, for that, I'll give him. I'll go over 8.
Yeah, I'll give him, mate. I thought he was good. He weren't faced by the occasion. As you said, he was good going forward defensively as well. He made some good, interceptions, etc. So yeah, 8.
There you go. Steve says, but no problem stepping in exceptionally well. He will be okay in Premiership, I believe. Exactly. 8.3. That's fair enough. Here we go. Stephen's rating for Fred. Here we go. There's okay, Fred. I freaking hate him. Head in hands, but he done a good job. Highest test for him. Exactly. See a lot of players, as we know. 7.7. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And then moving on to the other subs. Still got 3 subs to go. Obviously, we made 5, which is obviously how many you can make. Berry, obviously, was the next player to come on for Ruddock. Put in that shift. Obviously, took his penalty well and come on and scored. Obviously, I know it was a penalty shootout, but still, scores another late goal for Luton in that sense. Really, you could say so. Yeah, I thought he was good when he come on. I'm gonna go with I'll go with 8 again.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8. Exactly the same reasons. He stepped up, great penalty. Another one who wasn't phased by the situation, and I'm really pleased for him that he's a Premier League player because I like Luke Berry.
Yeah, always have, yeah.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I remember when I was questioning, I've said it a lot on these episodes, is, whether he was championship quality, but he proved me wrong in that. Well, not proved me wrong. It's not that I didn't think he was. I just still had that question mark until that Blackburn game, and then he was very consistent when he come on most of the time after that, always playing a part. Even if he weren't scoring, he was still doing very well in games. Look at Blackpool away this season. He scored the winning goal in that. Millwall got us that vital point. There's been plenty of games, hasn't there? So, yeah, massive shout out to him. Again, another player that's, had a bit of a rise with us. So, yeah, big up to him with that. Tom's rating for Fred, he's gone 7. 1 good burst forward, nothing much else from him. Fair enough. Very done a good job. Good pen, 7.5, says Stephen. Yeah, fair enough, mate. And then Tom says Berry 8, great pen. It was a very good pen. Again, it's up there for me with the pen. Obviously, they were all so good because they all went in, but his was up there as well for me. But yeah, then moving on to the next player. Obviously, Taylor again took his penalty well. Very unfortunate. Like I said, accidental handball. Did not mean to do it. What a moment that would have been. Obviously, as we know, if that counted, first goal for Luton, and it took us up. From there on in, definitely, I believe. So, yeah, I'm unfortunate there, but great penalty. And I think, I think he could be, if we keep him on the bench next season, I've got a feeling he's going to have a game where he's going to do really well if he comes on or even might start and everyone will be like, oh, I'm not sure because of who it might be against. But I think he'll do all right. So, yeah, as for his rating in this game, I'm going to go with another 8.
I'll give him 8.5. I thought, he looked hungry when he was coming on. He was, again, not phased. Brilliant penalty. The goal, yeah, unlucky, but he put the defender under pressure. He's playing the Luton way. We've seen that in previous games as well, like how he's adapted to it like that. He's strong, and he definitely affected the game. And even scoring that, it was offside. I think give the players even more belief as well. So 8.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. And then moving on to the final sub, which is obviously Potts. He come on. I remember thinking, yeah, that's a good sub. Because it's later on in the game, and it's got that experience in that sense, especially being with us anyway. So I thought it was a good sub for Osho, of course. So you just slotted in to that left centre back role. And yeah, I thought he was good. I thought he just got stuck in and done well. Obviously, his penalty was good. Like I said, a few people were nervy and he was taking it. I just felt he was going to score. I think it's just because I felt it was our time anyway, really, like I keep saying. But yeah, he done well when he come on. I'm going to go with another 8.
Again, 8.5 for me. Penalty was massive pressure moment. For me, it was. He just won them coin tosses. That's worth props anyway. Great penalty, composed. Obviously, affected the lads as well, because he's captain material. He's been at the club a long time. So, yeah, 8.5.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, there's that. Taylor is looking like a bright spark. Could be a pocket rockets up. Exactly. Great pen, unlucky not to score. 8, says Stephen. I totally agree with what you said there, mate. And Tom says, Taylor, 8.5, big balls for stepping up. Exactly, mate. Exactly. And then Stephen's rating for Potts. He says Potts knows what he takes. Good head on him. Settled it down. Perfect pen. 7.9 exactly. And then Tom says Potts 8.5, and he puts the hashtag again for stepping up. So yeah, that is that. But yeah, they are all the player ratings. So obviously, man of the match, both gave it to Clark. You know, a lot of people up there. Like I said, Elijah, Burke. Really good all-round team performance, which it needed to be. And we're there, Dad. We're there. We're finally there. We knew it was coming at some point, and you know, just the way things were going, we felt it was going to be this season. Obviously, I did say at the start, which did put a clip out of it, and obviously I put your clip out a couple of weeks ago, and I did put the date on it so people cannot say that it was after of us saying it. We felt it was our time. Obviously, I said it at the start of the season. You said it a couple of weeks ago, before the playoffs were even out, I think it was, or maybe just after, when obviously the first leg. But yeah, we're finally there, Dad. It is absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. We knew it was going to happen. It has, you know, this season maybe, but they got to a point where we just believed. And then it obviously, we've never been there. In the back of your mind, you're always thinking, no, something will happen, something happened. But we just didn't. We just went all the way there. You could say potentially ahead of schedule, slightly. But we just got to take full advantage of it now. We're there. We've got to use the stadium to our advantage and carry on playing that way. Obviously, you've got to play a bit more football. You've got to try and play a bit more football in the Premier League. But don't degrade from what we've been doing. Just keep that up, and I fully believe we'll be all right. And I'm just waiting for all that comes with that. You know, Premier League, exposed all over the world, etc. The new EA football game or whatever it is coming out. I want to see Kennel Road and that. Sticker albums, just everything, just everything, all about it. It's absolutely unreal, and we deserve it. What story? Could definitely be made. It should be. All these documentaries are out about other clubs. That needs to be made. Surely, it needs to be made with Pele in it. But we'll see. But unbelievable how far we've come. And you are getting your certain, it's not even pundits really, social media noise. They're going to finish with the worst points since Derby County. They ain't going to do nothing. That ain't going to happen. We'll definitely be giving it a go. I believe we'll survive, but we're not going down like people think we are, and that certain people might want us to. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. Obviously, someone did ask a question earlier. Now, I think it might have been Tom actually. Let me try to find it because I did star it. 1 second, where was it? Oh no, it was Eugene. Sorry. Where do you think Luton will finish in the Premier League next season? Me, when I get asked this question, I'm not going to answer it yet until our business is done, and more settled in. I've noticed people have already done predictions, but for me, it's difficult to do that because you don't know who's going to get who. For us, for example, you don't know if we're going to get any of the loans back. Hopefully, we do. At least
especially
one.
in the Premier League, because you have to sign them step up players.
Yeah.
Because, at the moment, you could say, I still think we'd survive if we had to go with what we've got. But we all know that there's players going and we're going to be signing players. So you can't judge it too much. But if it was to ask me now, based on the current squad, I'd say we finished 17th and we'd survive.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing as well, people might say, but you don't have the experienced players, rare tear. Obviously, because we don't currently have Nakamba back. Whether we will or not, we'll see. But at the same time, the way I look at it when people say that is neither did Brentford. You know, they didn't. I think the only player they had was the midfielder. I think I can't remember his name, but he was at Liverpool, but he weren't actually on the main team. He was only at the under 21s or whatever. So, look what they done in their first season. So I'm not saying we could be the exact same, but just because our team is not quite there in that sense, they're unknown identities, most of them to other teams. So you're not going to know what they're like in certain senses. But that's not me saying we don't need to get Premier League players in, or at least players of the experience. We definitely do. But, that's just an example there, really. So that is that. With that. But, yeah, other comments. Yeah, I can't wait to the fixtures. Like I said, we'll do a reaction to the first, game for sure. I won't do the whole thing because it's one of them. I said the same last season. Everyone's going to play everyone at some point. You just want to see who you got first, really, don't you, predominantly? And obviously, when you want to see when you have your derby games. We don't have a derby essentially next season. People say Tottenham and Arsenal because it's nearest, but I'm not on that train. It's not. So yeah, but I definitely can't wait. Like I said, we will react to them for sure. Hopefully, we will see, man. We will see. It's interesting with them at the moment because their main midfielder at the moment, I swear, is Gallagher because Kovacic has gone to City. Which is a good signing, by the way. He's a good player. I've always rated him. And, yeah, it's mad. So they need to get players in, but we'll see what happens with them. I know, mate. That's why I'm not doing it. Because, like I said, I'm judging it when signings are made. And you get a better understanding. I always leave it to them. So, way too early. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. So, yeah, there you go. Big up to Wolf. Says Canada is on fire. Wish us luck. Oh, if you actually are, then geez. Hopefully everything goes all right. But big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself, and I hope you're well and everyone around you, man. Jeez. That is true. Liverpool always do seem to get the newly promoted sides. I remember when Norwich come back up. You got Norwich at Anfield. Would I want Liverpool first game of the season? Not really, especially away. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see with that. But yeah, that is that. And then what I wanted to go on to now is obviously a bit of transfer news. But before I do that, I want to go on to the retain list because that did come out a few days ago. And then we can, there's been a few links with players coming back maybe over the last couple of days. Obviously, the loan players and even players we've had previously, which, I don't really believe them as much. But obviously, we'll get into them, I guess, and see what has been said about that. So, obviously, players that have obviously gone. Obviously, as we know, Sonny Bradley, massive shout out to him. Obviously, he was a massive player, part of the rise. So, massive shout out. Obviously, I have one of his shirts. I will be keeping that 100%. So, yeah, big up to him for that. And obviously, he's had brilliant moments for Luton. Even in the Championship, as we know, he could definitely still play for a Championship side. I mean, I've heard he's been rumoured with Hull. I don't know how close that is, but I've heard, that could happen. So, I think he'll do all right for them. Wherever he goes, I think he'll do all right, especially if they're a lower-end pushing side in the Championship or a side that's just come up. I think he'll do well. Even League One. Like we said earlier, hopefully, if he does go to a team in League One, he gets promotion. But obviously, he's gone. Lansbury, which it was mad going on to the later stages of the season with Lansbury because when we signed him, we were gassed because he's had that experience of being around. We don't. It shows how far we've come when we sign players like that. When we signed him, I was similar to when we signed Snodgrass. You wouldn't think we'd sign players like that a couple of years ago, but because what we're doing, obviously we can attract them players. Again, he had some really good memories for us. Obviously, one of them was obviously where we got the chant. He kicks who he wants. Obviously, against Swansea, everyone seems to forget where Manning booted the ball away, which is the reason he done it. But he's that was obviously a funny memory, as we know. Obviously, the goal against Hull, what a goal that was, and he's had some good moments for us. Obviously, he hasn't played as much as we would have thought, but he's still done very well. So massive shout out to him. And then the last one is obviously Isted, who, I thought he was quite unlucky. I watched their playoff final, Barnsley, and he was quite unlucky in that, to be fair. He made 2 really good saves in that game. I think, the coaching staff and the goalkeeper coach, I think they maybe saw something we didn't in him, because a lot of people were saying, play him in games, etc., vice versa. But you got to remember, he's at Luton for years and he never really got that game time. So clearly they saw something, we didn't. And predominantly most of the time, they get it right. The only times I'd say Luton, haven't got it right, it was players like Morel, but even then we got him straight out of the club. So it's one of them for me. I think he'll do well. I think Barnsley are looking to get him, permanently. So if he goes there, I think he'll do well again. So, yeah, all the best to them. They've played parts for us, that's for sure. I remember even when Isted come on against Chelsea in the FA Cup, he was brilliant. He was good in that game, to be fair. So he has had the odd couple of good games when he has played, but that's what I've got to say, man. Wish him all the best, really. But your thoughts on the 3 that are going, Dad?
Yeah, basically just the same for Bradley and Lansbury as you. Isted, yeah. It just never quite happened, because I think part of it is because we were moving slightly ahead of him each season, kind of thing. He's definitely a good keeper. And yeah, he just needs to go somewhere. He's guaranteed football. And I think he will end up doing well. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I do agree. Like I said, with that. And like I said, he made some wicked saves in that final. Is unlucky. Obviously, it was unfortunate for Barnsley in that game. I thought that one was heading to penalties as well. I remember watching it, so it was mad. With that, Wolf says, big up to you as well. Big up, mate. Big up. Obviously, he puts T at the end. Like to drink, but it's all good. Got to go to work. Big up, everyone. See you all soon. Uptown and Reds. Big up yourself, Spencer, mate. Big up yourself and enjoy work, mate. Big up to Luca, who is an Arsenal fan. Pretty sure when we play him next season, he's asked me if I can come on. So big up to yourself, mate. I hope you're well. He says, you okay? Yep, I'm good, thanks, mate. I hope you're well as well. So there you go with that one. But yeah, so they're the players that have gone for definite. Now, players, obviously, that we loaned have obviously gone back, or we had on loan. We've given a further year to Osho, which is brilliant. As we've said, very good player for us. Even when he's had a few mistakes, like the Watford game, obviously the first game I'm talking about, redeems himself, scores in the second one, scored a goal which actually got us level in the tie in the playoff second leg. So he's had brilliant moments for us. So it's good to see that we're giving him one. Potts, like I said, I thought personally going forward, maybe not. But then thinking about it, like I say, when I do them comparisons to Bradley, I think he's more consistent than Bradley was. And he has had really good games. Like I said, that Swansea away game, he was phenomenal in that. So that's what I say on that. And then Elliot Thorpe, we haven't seen much of him. Obviously, he was out on loan at Burton Albion. It didn't really work out. Obviously, he didn't have that so great game against Grimsby, but it weren't the only one. So that one, I understand it. He is young. You got to think he still has trained with really good players. Obviously, he was at Tottenham. So he trained with, Harry Kane and all that. So, yeah, I think there's still something, we haven't seen out of him yet. So I'm happy with them extensions for them players if they want to extend. How do you feel about them, Dad?
Yeah, obviously Osho 100%. Who else is it? Potts as well. Berry.
Yeah, Berry's there as well, yeah.
So, yeah. It's good to keep. You still got to keep certain core players who are part of that team spirit in the club. So, yeah, happy with that, yeah.
It's because they put I forgot to get into Berry and all that. It's because they put it on a separate bit. But yeah, other players as well, like say Ruddock, he'll most likely sign it, let's be real, because of you want to play in the Prem with us. So that one is that I'm gonna put it out there, it's done. Lockyer, again, that's good. Obviously he had his last year, so obviously, hopefully he extends, and I believe he will. Amari Bell, again, brilliant player. Like I say, for me, he's our most consistent player, or he was last season because of the position changes, he had. And he's got a really good bond with the fans as well. I'd say he's probably got a standout one, to be honest. I know before the Watford game, he was talking to a lot of fans. And he was actually saying we need to go up and we will go up, essentially. So he knew what was coming. And then Berry, again, it'd be good to see if he can. Like I said, so obviously the loan players have gone back, of course. Obviously, Ethan. Now, me, like I said earlier, I don't think he'll come back to us. Like I said, I don't think he was as bad as what people were saying. But I agree with you. I don't think his mentality will be quite there for the Premier League. And like I said, maybe it links to what I said earlier. Nottingham Forest see something, for being in the Premier League. Obviously, he's got offered to go Europe as well, European teams. So I wouldn't be shocked if he went there, to be honest, somewhere there. I don't know the teams exactly. I just know he's been offered there. So that's my thoughts on that one. Dre May. Now, this is an interesting one because he's been linked with Burnley and us, of course. Now, obviously, if he comes to us, he's guaranteed first-team football again. I think he'll go Burnley. If Burnley are serious about putting in an offer, I think he'll go there because he'll think they'll have more of a chance of staying up, which, to be fair, as much as I said I'm not doing my predictions now, I'd probably say the same. I've got a feeling they'll do well next season. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that before I do my Premier League predictions a bit later on. But, yeah, I think he'll probably go there because he'll think they'll have more of a chance of staying up. So, yeah, I think he'll go there. And then, obviously, Nakamba. Now, obviously, we heard Villa do not want to keep him by some reliable sources. So, yeah, I think that's the one we have most of a chance of getting, to be honest. Obviously, he's got that bond with the players, the fans. He's already a fan favourite. So, if there's anyone out of them three that we'll most likely get, I really do think it's him. And I'm pretty sure you're the same on that, Dad.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking about 90% sure that we're going to get him. He wants to sign. He's 29. He's clearly not in their plans. We would start him. As you say, he's got the bond with the players, the team, the manager. It just makes sense if we can sign him on for knockdown fee because they want some sort of fee for him. But they signed him for 11 million, but there's no way that we're going to be paying maybe a couple mil if we have to, but no more than 5, definitely not.
Yeah. No, I've heard a few bids going. I think the most I've seen is like 11, but mainly I'm seeing 6 mil. Sounds like the main sort of one. So we'll see. But like I said, I do expect, especially now being in the Premier League, we need to get these sort of players. We're going to break the record for sure when it comes to transfer fee. So that is that. With that, and then obviously your thoughts on the others before I move on. Obviously, Ethan. Well, you sort of said it earlier, didn't you?
Yeah.
That you think you won't the mentalities, and like I said, I think it links to what I said. Forrest clearly sees something. I think because he never got that chance really in the Premier League, did he either? So, and they weren't looking to recall him, were they? When obviously before they got Dean Henderson in and obviously Navas later on. And then obviously Dre May, what do you reckon about that? Are you the same with me with that one?
I think I've had Brentford to look at him as well. So I feel like he would probably go there because they could probably offer slightly better wages as well. And, you've got, if he's weighing it up, they've got a better chance of survival than we have. Let's put it that way. Do you know what I mean? So I feel that he might end up at one of them. I think Burnley are looking to they're playing first team football. Brentford, he might, potentially. I don't know. I think it'd be more like rotation or whatever. But if they're going in for him, then he'll go to it. Brentford, if he can get Brentford, I think he'd go Brentford.
Yeah, I agree. Established Premier League team now, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I always say we're obviously, Brentford are a year, I'd say, ahead, year or two. But we're moving in a similar direction to them. Obviously, their recruitment's very good as well. Even with this Ivan Toney situation, I know obviously it's a hat show, but just talking on that quickly, I think they'll be all right. Without him, they'll replace it all right. To be honest, my cousin, he's a Brentford fan. He was saying he reckons they will as well. So we'll see. But I didn't realise he was linked with Brentford. So yeah, if that is the case, then yeah, I reckon he'll probably go there as well. And then the final load of players, obviously that will return to the club. Most of them, I'd probably say, go back out on loan or we sell. Matt Macy being one of them. I think Portsmouth are looking to get him back permanently. Obviously, he had a pretty good spell there. By the sounds of it, I didn't watch any of their games, but I heard he's done all right in games. So, we will not be keeping him. That's what I do know for sure. It's just whether he'll be loaned out or gotten rid of. But I think Portsmouth are looking to put a bid in. So we'll see what happens with that. That was a couple of days ago I saw it. So it might be even closer to being done. I'm not too sure. So that's what I reckon with that one. Glenn Ray, obviously, he was on loan at Cheltenham. I did actually watch one Cheltenham game he was in. That was actually against Sheffield Wednesday, midweek game. And he weren't too bad considering he was up against Bannon, who, as we know, is a very good player. So he'll probably go out again, or he'll, be sold or loaned. That's what I think for most of these. The only one I think will not be, loaned or sold is Mendes Gomez, potentially. I think we might actually, keep him on the bench potentially next season. Obviously, I think he has everything to his game anyway. I said that, except his strength. He just needed to work on that a little bit. So I know the Premier League's a complete different ball game, but when you think about it, the lower down you go, the more physical it is in England. So, like I said, I think he's got everything else to his game. He was by far our best player that was out on loan this season. That goal he scored against Derby, away from home for Fleetwood was absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, he was up front with former, obviously, Luton player. And yeah, obviously, Musgrave was out there as well for a bit. And, Musgrave was nowhere near the heights that he was out. So I think if there's anyone that will, return to the club without loaning them back out or getting rid of, I think it will be him. And then the last two, Piera, I think we'll probably get rid of him. He hasn't really done anything. I think it's Bradford he went to. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one with him though, because in pre-season and that, we was impressed with him. He got a couple of assists, and we was thinking, do you know what, he might, be that guy this season. But then obviously we loaned him out, thought he would do something. He didn't really do too much, if we're being honest, by the sounds of it and what I've seen. And then the last one, McAtee. Now, me personally with McAtee, I think he'll get loaned out. But he needs to get loaned out for me to a higher team now, especially with us being in the Premier League. So hopefully for me, he gets loaned out to a championship side, whether that's a lower end one or mid-table sort of one. I think that would be the best for him. So yeah, that's my thoughts on them. Yours one by one. Matt Macy, Dad?
Gone.
There you go. Glenn Ray?
Gone.
Dion Piera?
With him, I think if he'll be given a chance to see what he can do in training, and it's down to that. I'm going to say keep, but loan out.
Okay, fair enough. Mendes Gomez?
Keep, and probably will end up being in the 25-man squad, I think.
Yep, fair enough. I agree. And then McAtee?
Loaned out.
Yep. Okay, fair enough. So that is that. That's our thoughts on the retained and released list. Now, let's get into transfer news. So, won't go into the Dre May one because we've gone into that. Nakamba, won't really get into that one. We think we'll get him. Hopefully, anyway, especially hearing what Villa said apparently the other day. And I just think now with them being in Europe, it was a different manager when Nakamba was there as well. So, I think we'll hopefully get him. Like I say, he's got that bond. But we are linked with a few players, of course. Now, one that's an interesting one to me, like Ricardo says here, is Jamaican international Joel. I don't actually know how to say his second name, so I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. But he's a Swansea defender. 23 years old, I believe. I'm not sure about this one. Like I said, I haven't seen too much of him. I'm not sure. Your thoughts on this one, Dad?
Well, I know Swansea like to play football. I think he's highly rated. You've got the Amari Bell influence there. It all depends, I think, if other clubs are coming in for him as well. But if we're the best catch, I can see us signing him.
Yeah. Fair enough. And like I say, he's young. Like I say, I haven't seen too much of him. He's young, obviously, for a footballer. So could be one. Obviously, with Bradley going, we do need to get a centre back. So even if it is someone that's young but has got that potential, I wouldn't mind. Because I think most of them that are in now, if not all of them that are starters, will probably start unless we get someone experienced in. Obviously, I'm not saying this player necessarily, but someone like who he was linked with last season in Steve Cook. Now, if you get someone like him, obviously not quite him, but you know what I'm saying, that experience, then one of them might not be in that has been in regularly this season. So we'll see with that one. And then obviously a mad one that's come out today is the Akpom one. Now, I'd be happy if this happened. Obviously, he was top scorer. The only thing people are questioning is obviously he hasn't played in the Premier League, but I think he could definitely cut it in there. And could you imagine him and Morris up front? Jeez, I'd be very happy with this one. Obviously, when it comes to funds and the fee, they're talking around about 10 to 15 million, which I think's decent for him. Very good, top scorer. What do you make of this one?
We've obviously showed an interest, but I just feel that they'll try and ask for too much money for him, and we won't pay over a certain amount. He's out of contract, so his price should be lower, but I feel obviously it would be a good signing. But for me, I don't think that's going to be a signing because that instantly it would be it instantly pushes people down the pecking order. Do you know what I mean? And in that case, you'd be thinking Taylor would be put out on loan. But we'll see what happens. You never know. We will make a marquee signing. We will break our transfer record, but I don't think it'll be fair for him. And I've heard before that other clubs were in for him, Palace. And wages wise, we won't be able to compete with certain teams. Begovic is fresh. I could see that happening. We'll give him a certain amount of wage. He probably would be one of the highest paid players we've ever had, but we've got a lot of experience. He's a very good goalkeeper on his day, and I'd be very happy with that signing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree definitely with that one. Got that experience as well. And then obviously another one we're linked with as well, which is the way I see it. We either get one or the other. Travers from Bournemouth is the other one, who again, I've seen him obviously playing goal for Bournemouth this season, and he's been good from the games that I've seen. So I'd definitely take him or Begovic. Like I say, it's going to be one or the other. The other one's not going to want to sit on the bench. And you got to think as well, we got Walton in, we haven't seen yet. Don't even think he's played in the development squad, as far as I'm aware. I think it's just been Shea, really. So, he'll be on the bench. I reckon he'll be our backup keeper. Shea, he might get loaned out, in my opinion, to be honest. We will see. And then the last one, MacArthur from Palace. This is a no for me. This is a no. Obviously there is players that, old and very good still, but I don't think this guy is quite it. Yeah, he's got the experience, but I don't know. I feel we should be looking at him the Campbell all day long instead of MacArthur, to be honest. But your thoughts on them two, Dad?
Obviously, Travers, like you say, I think it's Begovic or him. MacArthur, he's 35. He has got a hell of a lot of good experience. So I do feel that potentially we could sign him on the cheap, and he could do a job for us. Bear with me, I've got someone at the door.
Yeah, no worries, no problem. But yeah, the MacArthur one, it just don't attract me. As much as he's got that experience, I'm not sure. To be honest. It's like Stephen says here. It's not even that he's old, because there is players that have got that experience. But I just don't think he'll cut it for us. I think we should be looking at Nakamba all day long instead. To be honest, when it comes to that. So yeah, I think that they're all the main sort of rumours, aren't they? As far as I'm aware. So that's really my thoughts on that. Yeah, I think that's all of them, isn't it? Really, obviously more will come out. Obviously signings will be done. As we get obviously later on in this window, it'll be interesting to see what we do this season. Obviously, last season we tend to get for the summer. We tend to get our business done early last season. So it'd be interesting to see if we do the same. I think we should go for that. Obviously I know we've got the stadium to sort out as well, but at the same time, you want to get them done early, especially being in the Premier League, completely new league to us, as we know. Obviously everyone likes to do it since it's been called it. So if you're basing it on that, then it is. So we need to try and get them done fairly early, in my opinion. So we will see with that. Lennon says, yo, big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. But yeah, I think that's all I want to say, really, on the retain list and the transfer news. Same with you there, Dad, giving by that. But is there any final thoughts you'd like to say? Obviously, it's been a bit of a longer one, but it's only right.
Obviously, yeah. Just enjoy it, look forward to it, and that's what we can do. And yeah, there will be a marquee signing. There will be some surprises. I think we're going to do really well in the transfer market, and then people will have to take note of us. So we'll leave it at that. We'll probably do another one in a couple of weeks.
I was thinking maybe regarding what comes up transfer news, and obviously we're going to do a tier maker of. We'll probably do one of players, rating players this season like we did last season. We'll probably do one weekly. I'm aiming to get one out weekly still. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. So just enjoy it. Enjoy it. We are Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. That is the title. I think it's only right. A new edition, you know what I mean? Obviously, you lot would have seen it on the Premier League streams, but it's only right. We put the Luton thing there and put it on top. Obviously, it's got the Man City ribbons on it, which is what it is. They've done it back to back, but it's good that we're part of it. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of previews next season with a lot of big channels. I've already got a few in line, and then even when we play teams like Arsenal away, I might actually go to the ground the day before and just do a preview outside, and see if any Arsenal fans want to meet, etc. Maybe Tottenham and stuff like that. So we'll see, man. But big stuff planned either way. So yeah, it's going to be a good ride, hopefully, with that. So yeah, and Ricardo, just before we go, he says if Luton Town can get guys around the mid-20s with Premier League experience or top championship, they'll be up for survival. Exactly. And like I said, I'm not going to do it too early, but another thing I am going to look at as well when it comes to this is, if the Premier League's, which I believe it can be, if it's as tight as it was last season, there's no reason why we can't stay up for me. And we're just going to be so, I'm not saying confident where we beat teams. We will probably get battered at some point. There will be, of course, it's going to happen. So, but there will be, we just got confidence. You look at a lot of the teams, there's negativity around, a lot of the clubs in the lower end of the Premier League. A lot of teams, for example, I'd probably say someone like Palace, where, they do have good players and their fans expect them to be a little bit higher, because how long they've been in the Premier League and etc. So it's going to be interesting, man. Play teams like that for sure. And you look at, obviously he done well in the end, but them appointing Roy Hodgson at first, it's not the most attractive manager, because obviously his age and that sort of thing. But we'll see, man. We'll see what goes on. So yeah. And one thing I did quickly want to talk about quickly, I'm going to shut down it because I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, Leicester went down. Obviously, we have them links with former players. We've had James Justin and Drewsbury Hall. I don't think any of them will happen. James Justin, obviously, you know, he's one of our own, of course. But problem is with him, I feel, is he's quite injury prone at the moment, which I am gutted because obviously he's a good player. We know that. But I just think for that reason, we won't bother at this moment in time. Maybe in the future, but right now, I can't see it. Drewsbury Hall, I can't see that either. I could probably see Leicester keeping him, to be honest, because he's got that experience of being in the Championship. And yeah, we'll see, man. But that's what I've got to say on it. Your thoughts on them? Are you the same as me? Shut their room down.
Drewsbury will stay. He'll do a good job there. He's a very good player. Justin will probably also stay due to the injuries and stuff. But in the future, if both of them came up as a potential transfer target, I'm sure we probably would go for both of them because they would fit in well with the club.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you got to think as well. It depends what happened with Leicester as well in a couple of years. You know, they might come back up or etc. But I could definitely see Justin coming back to the club at some point. It's always most likely going to happen because he is one of our own, like I said. Whether that's coach, who knows? But he will come back at some point as something, that's for sure. Stephen says this as well, which I totally agree with. Home form will be crucial, 100%, mate. A lot of teams ain't going to be used to that. You know, Company said it last season, you know, when obviously Burnley played us. Said if they go up, we basically said if they go up, teams will find it difficult, which is facts. It's a tight pitch, you know, and it's a talking point, isn't it? Whether it's in a good or bad way, but for us, you know, we love Kenilworth Road, and we know it's going to be difficult for teams. Even when we've played Premier League teams over the years, you've seen it's been difficult for them. United had to, you know, bring on the big guns to beat us, you know. And Chelsea, we've had a tight game with them, obviously, in the FA Cup at home. So even the away game, we weren't even that bad, you know, considering that was away. Obviously, there's no fans in that one, unfortunately, but got all that to look forward to. You know what I mean? Going to the Emirates, going to the Anfield, going to the Etihad, and all that. So it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. So yeah, and Stephen reckons no chance. Well, yeah, not right now, mate. But yeah, exactly. We did push Chelsea, exactly, and that's what I'm trying to say. We have pushed these teams, so we will see, man. We will see. But like I said, hoping to do one of these weekly still, keep it going. Next episode, we'll probably rate players. I think that makes sense to do that. We'll do what we did last season with the tier maker. But yeah, that is everything you want to say, isn't it, Dad?
Yep.
So yeah. Like I said, I know it's been a bit of a longer one, but it's only right, you know. See, I haven't uploaded for as long as I have, and also the magnitude of the game, transfer news. It was only right to get into all of it. It's not quite the longest Hatch show, but it is up there. So big up to everyone that's tuned in. We're currently on 21 likes as well, so big up yourselves. That's good considering I don't think we've ever hit that. You know, before I've ended the stream on the Hatch show. So big up to yourselves for that. Obviously, big up for the super chats as well, and yeah. That is everything I want to say. As for content, I might potentially do a call-in show on Sunday evening, which is obviously where any fan can come on and talk about their team. I did say I was going to do that at some point with the season. Obviously, Champions League, obviously, is the final load of games for the European clubs and all that. I'll probably might do one on Sunday, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So that's that. And then from there on in, like I said, aiming to do a Hatch show weekly. I might, if transfer news comes out a lot big for Luton, I'll probably do them videos that I did once a day, you know, a couple of months ago. So we will see. We will see with that one. And then obviously we'll react to the fixtures as well when they come out as well in the Premier League, mainly just the first game. So, yeah, that is that. But yeah, smash a like if you haven't already. As for new subscribers, I know we did gain a few from the vlog as well. So big up to yourselves. One new subscriber in this stream as well. So thank you to whoever that was as well. Much appreciated. And yeah, subscribe to the channel, like I said, with the notification bell on. If you want to follow me across any of my socials, links are in the description. I have put the TikTok. I changed the name on it. I have put that in the description as well. So yeah, make sure you check that out. We put clips of this on there as well. So big up to everyone that checks that out as well. Make sure you follow me on there if you haven't. All my other socials as well. Subscribe to the other channel. We're currently on 60 subscribers on that now. So big up to yourselves for that. And yeah, turn on the notification bell for that. And the final comments before we go. Steve says, great stream as always, guys. Big up to yourself, mate. Big up yourself. Loyal viewer. So big up to yourself. And then Lucas says, big up yourself, mate. Looking forward to coming on your channel for the Arsenal preview next season. So yeah, until next time, or the 2 Arsenal previews, hopefully. But yeah, until next time, take care and peace. Come on, Levin.